Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about the Netflix animated original series called Big Mouth, which stars the voices of Nick Kroll and one of my favorite comedians, John Mulaney. Now this series centers around a bunch of preteen kids who are about to go through possibly one of the biggest, most traumatic events a kid can go through, puberty. And so essentially they're going through all these bodily changes, dealing with these hormones, all these different things, and it's really kind of hilarious to watch them go through it because we've all dealt with it. And just seeing how these kids are reacting to it, you feel for them because you know you went through those same exact things as well. And it's kind of funny because they do not only boys, there's also a girl in the group. So they're dealing with not only like masturbation and like puberty, acne, just all these hormone changes, but also like on the girl side of it with with hormone changes, going through your period, all these really weird things that your body does when you're growing up, and this series really tackles that as well as all the adolescent things that they're dealing with, and it's really kind of funny how they deal with it, and it's actually a great cartoon series to watch. Now, as I said, I am a massive John Mulaney fan, so I was really looking forward to this series. Nick Kroll, I'm not so much a fan of. I usually find him to be the most annoying character in whatever I'm watching him in, and that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, there was a point where he was literally voicing a douche in Sausage Party, so he's never been my favorite character. He still isn't in this series, but at least he's a little bit more tolerable because he does play a normal person, as well as he lets his sort of weirdness out by getting to voice other characters, especially like the hormone monster, who's like this, I don't really know how to describe it. It's just like this very, I don't want to say dirty, but like sort of like he's a hormone monster. There's really no way to get past that. Like he's just the raw form of hormones that like all the dirty thoughts or all these random things and outbursts that you are internally saying to yourself, that's what the hormone monster is. And it's actually a great character. That when looking back on it, it's just super fun to think that there is this monster inside of you that is responsible for all these thoughts and ideas that you actually want to have. You may not act on them, but at least there's something that's sort of behind all of those thoughts and actions. I think it was a really great creative style that the group or the creators took. I really like that aspect a lot. But as for Nick Kroll overall, I'm kind of iffy on, not super big fan of it. But John Mulaney's fantastic. He does also the main voice of Andrew, Nick's best friend in this series, as well as a couple of other characters here and there. Now, I definitely did like this show a lot. It was actually really, really funny. It's I think there's about 8 episodes, 10 episodes. I think it's 8 episodes. And they go by really fast. It's about 30-minute episodes. And they tackle subjects, again, that are really sort of raunchy, but it does it in a lot of funny ways. Whether it be boys reacting to girls things, girls reacting to boys things, or just those boy things reacting to bodily changes and how they sort of feel weird about it, or how they're not certain about how to feel about it. And they want to go through these changes, but at the same time, they're very, very strange changes. We all know we've all been there. So it's a really great show to definitely check out. I highly recommend it. It's super funny. Like I said, it's raunchy as all hell. So if you're used to like those television sitcom cartoons, whatever, like Family Guy or Simpsons, which definitely do push the edges and boundaries sometimes, this one goes way above and beyond that, because it does have the benefit of being on Netflix. It doesn't have to worry about like that censorship of network television. So this one definitely goes all in. Totally worth it, but just take it with a grain of salt and be prepared that you're going to see some things and hear some things that you probably weren't quite expecting, especially from a cartoon. Now, the show can be a bit outlandish at times, and it does go those crazy extra miles, and you start to question, why am I watching this show? Like, why are they pushing this boundary? Well, Nick Kroll likes to push that boundary a lot. You'll go through a couple of scenes where you're sort of shaking your head wondering why it is that you're watching this. I think that's the biggest downfall, at least in my opinion, of this show, is that you're wondering why you're watching it, but at the same time you're enjoying watching it because it is so outlandish, crazy, wild, and still hilarious. And like I said, I definitely do highly recommend watching this show. They actually recently announced that a season 2 will be coming in 2018, so I'm really looking forward to that. But overall, just even with the raunchiness and how crazy it can get as a cartoon, the overall grade that I'm going to give Big Mouth Season 1 is a B+. It definitely pushes those boundaries, and I think that's what it really has going for it, is that it's willing to go there and sort of make relatable scenarios or situations to what maybe not necessarily you have grown up with, but most likely have grown up with these similar situations, or know somebody who has gone through a similar situation, or even above and beyond, and you're just thinking, who would do that going through puberty? Like some of the desperation things that like the friend, I don't remember his name, goes through, just going through puberty, is absolutely hilarious. I love that kid. But it's definitely totally worth watching. I highly recommend it. You'll blaze through it within a day probably if you're a binge watcher. And it's definitely worth watching, and especially because I love John Mulaney, so please check it out as well. But other than that, those are my thoughts on Big Mouth. If you guys have seen it, please feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. But other than that, that's all I have. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.